Hello students, welcome to St. Sebastian Pre-University College. In today's class, let us study about a new lesson, motion in a straight line. Topics to be covered in these lessons are introduction, position, path length and displacement, average velocity and average speed, acceleration, kinematic equation for uniformly accelerated motion, relative velocity, and some of the numerical problems we are going to discuss in this lesson. Now, let us see the introduction, that is mechanics. The mechanics is a branch of physics that deals with the motion of a body due to the application of force. So we know that the physics is a vast subject. In this physics we are having a mechanics. Mechanics is a branch of physics that deals with the motion of the body due to application of force. Under the mechanics, the two main branches of mechanics are statics and dynamics. So what are the two branches of mechanics? Statics and dynamics. Statics is the study of the motion of an object under the effect of force in equilibrium. So static means we are going to study about the object at rest. Static is a study of the motion of the object under the effect of force in equilibrium. So equilibrium means when the forces are at zero. That means when the object is at rest. So the statics is the study of the object at rest. Whereas dynamics is the study of the motion of the object by taking into the account the cause of their change of states. So it is a state of rest or motion. So statics is a study of objects at rest, while dynamics it is a study of object in motion. So the study of object in motions are called dynamics. Now let us see again, the dynamics are divided into two types, kinematics and kinetics. Kinematics and kinetics, these are the two sub branches of dynamics. Dynamics is a study of object in motion. Statics is the study of objects at rest. Now, the dynamics is classified into two types. What are they? Kinematics and kinetics. Kinematics, the study of the motion of the objects without taking into account the cause of their motion, is called kinematics. So, the kinematics is the study of motion of the objects without considering its cause, that is kinematics. Whereas kinetics is a study of motion which relates to the action of force causing the motion and the mass that is moved. That means the kinetic is which consider the cause of their motion, whereas kinematics it is not taking the effect of their motion. So these are the subdivision of dynamics. Dynamics is the study of objects in motion, whereas statics is the study of objects at rest. Kinematics and kinetics, these are the two subdivision of dynamics. whereas kinematics is a study of motion of object without considering its cause. Kinetics is a study of motion with considering its cause. Now, let us see the introduction to motion. In our everyday, you see the things moving here and there. For examples, vehicles are running on road. Aeroplanes are flying on the sky. Can you remember such types of the movement? There is one thing is common to all such example, that is motion. These are changing their position with respect to time. Therefore, motion can be defined as, that is, a body is continuously changing its position with respect to time. So that is called a motion. So here the motion, a body is said to be in motion if it is the position is changing with respect to its surroundings or frame of reference. In a simple way, we can see that a change in position of the object with the time is called motion. The change in position of the object with the time is called motion. For example, moving cars, buses, trains, cricket ball, etc. All the planets revolving around the sun. The molecules of a gas in motion above 0 degree Kelvin. So, these are the example for a motion of the body. Now, what do you mean by motion? The motion means a body is said to be in motion if its position is changing with respect to its surroundings or frame of references. In a simple way, we can say that the change in position of the object with the time is called motion. Now, let us see what you mean by rest. A body is said to be at rest if its position is remains constant with respect to its surroundings or frame of references. So, if the body is at rest, its position is not going to change, isn't it? Then it is called the body is under rest. For examples, mountains, buildings, etc. These are the example for a rest. A body is under rest. So hope you understood what you mean by rest and motion. The rest and motions are relative terms. An object which is at rest can also be in motion simultaneously. Sometimes an object which is at rest can also be in motion simultaneously. So that is they are relative terms. They depends one and another. That is, rest and motion are relative terms. They depend one another. For example, the passengers are sitting in a moving train are at rest, isn't it? The passenger is sitting at rest on in a train with respect to each other, but they are also in motion at the same time with respect to the object like trees, buildings, etc. So here we can observe the rest and motion. They are relative terms. They depend one another. So the object which is at rest can also be in motion simultaneously. So the passengers sitting in a moving train are at rest with respect to each other, but they are also in motion at the same time with respect to the objects like trees, buildings, etc. Hope you understood what you mean by rest, motion, and how they depends, how they relative terms, rest and motions. Now let us study about position, path length, and displacement. In the previous slides, we studied about motion, that is changing the position of the body with respect to time. Now let me ask you one thing. How can you specify the position of the body? You know the answer. You have learned that in geometry, to specify any position, we use x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. The intersection of references axis is called origin. That is origin O. It acts as a reference point. So here the reference point, consider a rectangular coordinate system consisting of three mutually perpendicular axes labeled as x, y and z axis. The point of intersection of these three axes is called origin. It is represented by O and serves as the reference point. So O is a reference point. It is also called origin. The coordinates x, y, z of an object describe the position of the object with respect to this coordinate system. That is called reference point. Frame of reference, the coordinate system along with the clock to measure the time, constitutes a frame of references. So with respect to time, we are measuring the coordinate system, then it is called a frame of references. The coordinate system along with the clock to measure the time constitutes a frame of references. The positive direction, negative direction. The positive direction of an axis is in the direction of increasing number. Increasing number in the coordinate system. So positive direction of an axis is in the direction of increasing number. Whereas negative direction, the negative direction of an axis in the direction of decreasing numbers. So in the coordinate system, we are having both the direction, positive as well as negative direction. Positive direction means increasing the numbers. Negative direction means decreasing the numbers in the coordinate system. Now let us see origin, unit and direction of position, measurement of an object. So in the x-axis, from the origin, we are having a positive direction as well as negative directions. The distance measured to the right of the origin of the position axis is taken as positive, and the distance measured to the left of the origin is taken negative. The origin, whereas in the second point, the origin for a position can be shifted to any point on the position axis. We can shift the origin for a position can be shifted to any point on the position axis. Third one, the distance between 2 points on position axis is not affected due to the shift in the origin of the position axis. So origin, how we are represent the origin, and the left side we are considered as negative and the right side we are considered as positive. Origin for a position can be shifted to any point on the position axis. The distance between 2 points on the position axis is not affected due to the shift in the origin of position axis. Now the second diagram, the origin, unit and sense of passage of time. Now here the time is measured to the right of the origin of the time axis is taken positive, and the time measured to the left of the origin is taken as negative. So the first diagram is for a position and the second diagram is for a time. And the second point, the origin of the time axis can be shifted to any point on the time axis. We can shift the origin. The third one, the negative time coordinates of the point on the time axis means that object reach that point a time that much before the origin of the time axis, that is t is equal to 0. The fourth one, the time interval between 2 points on a time axis is not affected due to a shift in the origin of time axis. So these are the points we can remember while drawing the graph. Now let us see when the same point is chosen as origin for a position and time. So in a single graphical representation we are represent the position and time. Okay. See, O is a origin for a position and time. At O, time t is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. X and t, that is a representation of position and time. At the point A, B and C. At the point A, we can observe the position of the object is 30 km. Time is equal to 6 hours. Similarly, at a point B, position is 40 km. T is equal to 8 hours. At a point C, x is equal to 55 km and t is equal to 11 hours. That means the position of the body is keep on changing with respect to time. Now here we can observe at particular time what is the position of the object. That is represented by x. X is equal to 30 km, x is equal to 40 km, x is equal to 55 km with respect to time. Now when the different points are chosen as origins for the position and time, then what is the case? Now see the same diagram O, A, B, C. Now we are going to consider A. At A, the time t is equal to 0. That is considered as origin. Okay. And at a point B, the position x is equal to 0. That is a origin for a position. Now, so the right and the left you have to observe. So the right of the origin for a position we are considered as a positive, that is x is equal to 15 km and left x is equal to minus 10 km. Similarly, under the time origin, from the origin, the left side we are having t is equal to 2 hours, t is equal to 5 hours, and the right side we are having t is equal to minus 6 hours. See the position B is a position for a origin of, it is the origin for a position where at that point B x is equal to 0 and A is a origin for a time. Now from x, the right side we are having a positive value, from the left side we are having a negative value. Similarly, origin for a time, from the right side of the time we are having a positive value and left side we are having a negative value. So here we are having on the right side time t is equal to 2 hours, t is equal to 5 hours, and the left side we are having t is equal to minus 6 hours. Similarly, for a origin for a position x is equal to 0 km at the point B. On the right, x is equal to 15 km. On the right left side we are having x is equal to minus 10 km and x is equal to minus 40 kilometers. So here by the diagram you can observe that rest and motion. So a person, a man is a stationary man. With respect to the stationary man, a car and a ball are moving. So these two objects are in motion. Now, depending on the number of coordinates changing during motion, we have the following three types of motions: one dimensional motion, two dimensional motion, and three dimensional motions. Now, the first one dimensional motions. The motion of the object is said to be one dimensional if only one of the three coordinates is required to specified with respect to time. It is known as rectilinear motion. Now let us see what you mean by path length. The path length, which is also called as distance. The definition for a path length: the line joining the successive positions of a moving body is called its path. The length of the actual path between the initial and final position gives the distance traveled by the body. So, the path length is a line joining the successive positions of a moving body is called path. The length of the actual path between the initial and final position gives the distance traveled by the body. In a simple way, we can say that the distance traversed by an object is called path length. The distance traversed by an object is called path length. So the path length is a scalar. The path length has only magnitude and no directions, hence it is a scalar quantity. The path length has only magnitude and no directions, hence it is a scalar quantity. Now, under the illustration, we can see that a man walking at a point A to B from the distance 5 km. Again, he is moving north from the point B to C, the distance 2 km. So the total distance traveled by the body is AB plus BC, that is 5 km plus 2 km, that is equal to 7 km. 7 km is the total distance traveled by an object. So here it's a total distance traveled by the man. The second diagram, a man is moving from A to B and again he is coming to the initial position, that is B to A. So the total distance he traveled is AB plus BA, that is 5 km plus 5 km, that is equal to 10 km. That is a total distance traversed by an object is called path length. Now let us see displacement. Displacement is the directed line segment joining the initial and final positions of a moving body. So here it is a change in the position of an object in a particular direction is called displacement. So change in the position of an object in a particular direction is called displacement. So the displacement is a vector quantity. Displacement has both magnitude and directions. Hence it is a vector quantity. So under the diagram you can observe that a man is walking from the point A to B, B to C. So the total distance here is a 7 kilometer, that is the path length. Now what is a displacement? Displacement is a change in the position of the object in a particular direction. So we are concentrate about its initial position and final position, that is A to C. So we have two lines joining the position from A to C, that is represented by that pink arrow, that is the line segment joining the initial and final position of a moving body. That distance in this example we will get 6.57 kilometer in the direction shown by the arrow mark. Now what about in the second diagram? A man is moving from A to B. Again he is coming back to its initial position, that is B to A. So A to B and B to A is coming back to the initial position. So going and coming back both are opposite directions. So the total displacement here is 0 kilometer. So we can write the displacement here. It is AB minus BC. Sorry, AB minus BA. So here one is moving to the initially he is moving from A to B. Again he is coming back to its initial position, that is B to A. So B to A we are taking as a negative. So A to B it's a positive. So 5 kilometer minus 5 kilometer. So the total distance it becomes 0 kilometer. If a body changes from one position, the position we are going to consider as, we are represented in terms of x. So x1 is always considered as the position, and another position we are going to consider as x2. Then the displacement is represented by delta x in the time interval delta t, that is equal to t2 minus t1. t1 and t2 are the time intervals. So the displacement is equal to x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1, they are the final position minus initial position. Now the conclusion about the displacement. The displacement is a vector quantity. That means the displacement has both magnitude and directions. Hence it is a vector quantity. The displacement has the units of length. So the displacement is also having the unit. That unit is meter. Meter is the unit for length. The displacement of an object in a given time interval can be positive, 0 or negative. Displacement can be positive, 0 or negative. The actual distance travelled by an object in a given time interval can be equal to or greater than the magnitude of displacement. The actual distance travelled by an object in a given time interval can be equal or greater than the magnitude of displacement. And the fifth one, the displacement of an object between 2 points does not tell exactly how the object actually moved between those points. So it does not tell how the object is traveled to reach that point. So here it is concentrate only about the initial and final position. That is the fifth point. The displacement of an object between 2 points does not tell exactly how the object actually moved between those points. The displacement of the sixth point, the displacement of a particle between 2 points is a unique path which can take the particles from its initial to final position. The displacement of particle between 2 points is a unique path. It is not a same path. It is unique path which can take the particle from its initial and to the final position. The displacement of an object is not affected due to the shift in the origin of the position axis. So the displacement of the object is not affected while shifting the origin of position axis. So these are the points about displacement. Displacement is a vector quantity. It is also measured by the unit of length. Displacement can be positive, 0 or negative. The actual distance by an object in a given time interval can be equal or greater than the magnitude of displacement. Displacement of an object between 2 points does not tell exactly how the object is actually moved between those points. The displacement of the particle between 2 points is a unique path which can take the particle from its initial to final position. The displacement of an object is not affected due to the shift in the origin of the position axis. Now let us see the displacement A, B, C. So A, B, C is a 3 point. The ball is moving from A to C, C to B. So the displacement is considering only the 2 points, that is A and B. Now let us see what is the difference between the distance and displacement. Distance is also called path length. The differences is that distance is a scalar quantity, displacement is a vector quantity. Second one, distance traveled by a moving body cannot be 0. So the total distance cannot be 0. Whereas the displacement, the final displacement of a moving body can be 0. So again I can add 2 more points. One is the distance is a definition, that is a total distance traversed by an object is called distance or path length. Displacement of a particle is a change in the position of the particle in a particular direction. The distance can never be negative, it is always positive. Displacement can be both negative and positive. The distance is either equal or greater than displacement, whereas displacement is either equal or less than distance. So these are the difference between path length and displacement. Now let us see what is a scalar and vector. Scalar quantity is a physical quantity which has only magnitude. The scalar is a physical quantity which has only magnitude. Example, length. So while you are writing the length, we are writing only 10 meter, isn't it? 5 meter. So that 10, 5, it represents the magnitude. We are not going to write it is minus the minus 10 in the north direction, plus 5 in the west direction, isn't it? We are not giving the importance to its direction. We are writing only the magnitude. So the examples are length, mass, time, speed, energy, etc. These are the example for a scalar quantity. The second one is a vector. Vector quantity is a physical quantity which has both magnitude as well as directions. So here, while you are expressing the displacement, we have to write its direction along with magnitude. Example: displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force, etc. So these are the things. While you are writing its value, we have to mention its directions. So plus, for example, displacement is plus 240 meter, where plus it indicates it is in the positive direction. So while you are representing the value, we have to mention its direction, that is displacement, velocity, acceleration. It comes under the vector. So vector quantity is a physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction. So in today's class we studied about introduction to the motion in a straight line, position, frame of references, path length and displacement, and the difference between the path length and displacement. Hope you understood all the concepts, isn't it, students? Thank you.